As it dates to 1896, Kentucky and Vanderbilt meet with bowl eligibility hanging in the balance. Kentucky needs to win 2 out of 3. Vandy needs to win out. Welcome, everybody, to Nashville. Tom Hart alongside Heisman winner Andre Ware. Kentucky finds itself in almost the exact same spot they were last year. A hot start, expectations go through the roof, and then a late slide. They need to win now if they want to go bowling.
Yeah, they started the season a year ago 5-1 and lost their last 6 games. Very similar to this season, Kentucky. Starting 4-1 and have lost their last 4. Talent is better. Mark Stoops is recruited better. The program is in better shape. They're just not finding the consistency in the win column right now. So that's what makes today even more important in terms of a bowl game.
And that's the big question around the Kentucky program right now. And for more on that, let's go down to the sideline. Laura Rutledge is standing by with head coach Mark Stoops.
Thanks. Coach, who is getting the start at quarterback, and why is he your best option right now?
Patrick Tolles is going to go. He has the experience. He had a good week of practice, so we'll go with Patrick, but Drew's ready to go.
You get Boom Williams back. What kind of impact can he have against an improved Vanderbilt defense?
Well, hopefully he'll give us some explosive plays. Boom seems healthy and ready to go, so I expect us to play a good game today.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, Laura, thanks. The numbers for Tolles not very impressive. Over his last 6 games during the slide, only 1 touchdown against 6 picks. He's tied for the SEC lead with 12 interceptions on the season. And oh, by the way, he has to face one of the best defenses, not just in the SEC, but in the country. Derek Mason came to town. He vowed to remake the defense, and he did. It's been masterful.
Yeah, he took over play calling responsibilities on that side of the ball, and they flat out get after you. They've cut it in half in terms of points per game from last season. They are first in the SEC on third downs at 25%. They get themselves off the field. They turn you over in terms of fumbles. Derek Mason has this defense playing at a very, very high standard, a high level.
It's the second biggest drop in the FBS, is 16 points a game difference between last year to this year. Even more impressive, their takeaways, and they did that last week against Florida, a Florida team that entered with only 6 turnovers, committed 4 against Vandy, kept Derek Mason's team in the game in Gainesville. He's in his 2nd season as the Vanderbilt head coach, 6 wins against 15 losses. The improvement evident in the stats, if not in the win-loss column.
We're going to see that Vanderbilt defense right out of the gate as they're going to kick off here to Kentucky and try to put as much pressure on Patrick Tolles. We visited with Derek Mason yesterday, and they're going to get after Patrick Tolles a little bit. May not be from the secondary, but the linebackers, we got a couple of good ones that will harass Patrick Tolles for the better part of this game.
Vandy won the toss. They've elected to defer, so Kentucky will receive. Saheem King, J.D. Harmon back to return this kick as Hayden Lecotz gets it lined up for Vandy. They've had kicking issues all season, and return possibilities await King and Harmon. From the 2, it's King. He's got plenty of room on this left side, and he's able to get the corner. King just tripped up at the 36-yard line. So Patrick Tolles will get the start. Drew Barker was in the running, and they opened up the competition this week. The freshman from Burlington, Kentucky, will be watching Tolles go back to work.
Yeah, highly recruited redshirt freshman and Drew Barker, but it's Patrick Tolles today, only completing about 57% of his passes, 9 touchdowns to 12 interceptions. Has to take care of the ball a little bit better against this Vanderbilt defense that can get after it.
6th in school history, nearly 5,000 yards passing, and 5,300 yards of total offense for Tolles. They'll start with an empty backfield. And now motion Boom Williams to him. Tolles to run on 1st down. And he picks up 4. Here's what Kentucky looks like with their starters on offense.
Yeah, Stanley Boom Williams, you heard Coach Stoops tell Laura he's back. He's an electric player when he has the ball in his hands. Means so much to their running game. And then Dorian Baker, when they want to get down the field, big physical receiver with speed. And he blocks well on the edges when Boom Williams tries to bounce runs.
2nd and 5 officially, and Tolles play action, pulls it back, now tries to flick it to the sideline, and there's some Vandy pressure. Torrey Agee came in on him, Baker, the intended receiver. Here are the starters for the Doors.
Yeah, AG's played very well the last couple of weeks, but what makes Vanderbilt's defense go is the linebackers, inside linebackers. Zach Cunningham probably playing the best football on this entire defense, and then Stephen Weatherly, who's had a nice run the last couple of weeks of making plays himself.
Cunningham, 69 tackles on the season, 60 in his last 6 games. Out of the pistol, they give it to Boom, needs 5 for the first down. Sheds the first guy and picks up the first down on a run of 9.
Yeah, Oren Burks takes a bad angle. He comes inside as opposed to keeping leverage on the outside. Watch number 20. He's got the outside in. There's no line of defense around him. The corner to that side is in man coverage and is turned and run. Once you give up the leverage, it's easy work for Boom Williams.
Kentucky looking to go tempo. 5 wide receivers here. Boom Williams with the little toss, loss of football. That should be an incomplete pass, and it is. He never had it on the toss from Tolles.
But Boom just seemed a little winded from the play before, and they try to go right back to him. The coaches say that he plays and runs so hard from play to play that they have to give him a break every now and then. You'll see Horton, who's the backup, as well as JoJo Kemp.
Yeah, he's one of those sports cars that can go from 0 to 100 quick, but he can also run out of fuel fast.
Yeah, it needs to cool down a little bit.
Tolles trying to get a wide receiver screen. This is Dorian Baker, and he is just shy of the marker on a gain of 8. Adam Butler with the stop from his end spot.
I think Shannon Dawson, the offensive coordinator for Kentucky, has done a nice job settling Patrick Tolles into this game. He is a run-first guy in terms of settling himself into a football game. What do they do to open this game? A quarterback draw, give him a run, then a couple of easy passes to get his footing going, get some foundation, and he's off to a pretty good start.
10th play of the drive. This is 3rd and 1. Johnson motions to the wing. Tolles with the bootleg, got a run, and he flicks it.
Nice.
Complete. Wow, C.J. Conrad held on to that one. It's a gain of 9. Tolles able to escape, and they move the chains again.
Boy, just needed to challenge him, and this is what the coaching staff, they rave about him because he's so talented. Not a lot of guys can make that throw. Being pressured, rolling away from the pressure, and what makes the play is the throw out in front of the intended receiver.
Boom Williams returns to the backfield. Vandy's been so good defensively in the red zone this season. Here's Boom. Tried to bend it, and he got bent back. It's a loss of 3. Zach Cunningham has 60 tackles over his last 6 games, including now 13 and a half of them behind the line of scrimmage.
And this is where Vanderbilt will stiffen up. Teams get down inside the red zone 31 times. They've only scored 12 touchdowns. They've kicked 10 field goals, and the rest they go away empty. So Vanderbilt here trying to hold up.
Cunningham took over for Nigel Bowden. He's filled in nicely. Bowden suffered a concussion against Georgia. Still hadn't been back in the practice field. Tolles looking for a screen, and he throws that one in the turf. There's a wide receiver over there in the vicinity.
Well, see, and this is where you kind of you need to relax. Look at the footwork of Tolles. Just bouncing and really not taking a drop. You can't really set yourself. You're really not inviting the defense when you start getting choppy that way. That's the first thing that stands out to me when he struggles in a game. And I've pulled a couple of games this year. Feet get choppy, he gets inaccurate.
6'5", 240. He's a big guy. 3rd and 14. There's Happy Feet again. Fires off balance. Incomplete. Off the hands of Garrett Johnson. That one was wobbling when it got to him. And it'll bring a 4th and 14.
Yeah, it just tells me when he's starting to press. Watch the footwork again. Right there. Choppy, choppy, choppy. You just got to set your feet to throw an accurate pass. And you can't be accurate if your feet are constantly moving that way. Just set in there, no pressure whatsoever, and just deliver the football.
38-yard attempt for Austin McGinnis. He's 12 of 14 on the season. Been battling a groin strain. And that one is fit right through. Wow, long opening drive for Kentucky. Patrick Tolles getting the opportunity again today, able to lead them to a score after a 14-play drive. And to look inside Blackbird's studio, opened in 2002 by John and Martina McBride. Thanks to Rolf, the manager, for allowing us in. Other folks who have darkened that door, guys from Pearl Jam, Taylor Swift, Bruce Springsteen, Zach Brown Band, Garth Brooks, you name them. It seems like they've all been through there here in Music City. And on the West End, Kentucky leads Vandy 3-0 after one possession. That was a 14-play drive. It ended in a 38-yard field goal.
Vanderbilt's that way defensively. You may drive the field, have some positive things happen in a drive, but Derek Mason always gets his team to respond once you get down inside the red zone and they force you to kick field goals.
Darius Sims back to return. Junior from Memphis. Vandy has relied on its defense all season, looking for a big play somewhere. Sims from the goal line gets turned around at the 20 and is able to go forward. And so another opportunity for freshman Kyle Shermer from Philadelphia. Big kid, coach's son. He's 6'4", 225.
Yeah, he's got the football background, the football IQ you want, and the respect of his teammates. They realize that he's a young guy, but he's got a lot of football savvy to him. He gets in the huddle. He has great command of the huddle. That's what you want from a young player.
His dad, Pat, the offensive coordinator now for the Eagles, former head coach of the Cleveland Browns. And Darius Sims in at quarterback in a wildcat position, and he takes off left and tries to cut it back up. Picks up a yard. Corey Johnson with the tackle. Let's check in with Laura.
Well, Fred Tiller, they're checking his left eye right now. They put some eye drops in it. He said it's good. They're just checking everything as well, making sure that his head is okay. But it seems like the left eye is the main focus, guys.
All right, Laura, thank you.
Good to see him up and moving around.
So now Kyle Shermer would take a snap. He was 3 for 11 for just 20 yards against Houston. Took a big shot in that game. Wasn't available to play last week against Georgia due to that injury. Ralph Webb is his running back. Here's Webb. A great game in his return to Gainesville, his hometown, last week. Picks up 2 there. Here are the rest of the starters for Vanderbilt on offense.
Yeah, Ralph Webb, they're going to have great production from him. He ran for 99 yards last week against Florida. He's capable of moving the football for Vanderbilt. And then Stephen Shoy. I think he is the forgotten part of this Vanderbilt offense, a second-team All-SEC player a year ago. They need to find a way to get Stephen Shoy involved in this Vanderbilt offense.
Most catches in 30 years last season for Shoy. 0 catches last 2 games for the big tight end. Ralph Webb straight ahead picks up a pair. It's going to leave 3rd and 5. Kentucky says the ball is theirs. It is! Kentucky with the takeaway. Something Vandy cannot afford to do. And Khalid Henderson is the guy who scooped it up.
Yeah, especially on your own end of the field. You've got to have both hands on the football going into a crowded area, and it's clearly out. And Khalid Henderson, there's been some pretty good players wear that number at Kentucky. Danny Trevathan being one. And they're making a play for the Wildcats. They're going to have some excellent field position. Tom, this is where I'm going up top. Sudden change, a fumble. You're on their end of the field. This is when you find your vertical threat and let Patrick Tolles rip one.
Boom Williams in the backfield. Offensive coordinator Shannon Dawson regretted not doing that last week. He rolls and rolls and rolls and finally sends that one. Nice catch by the equipment guy. Wow, good hands. Weatherly and Cunningham were the guys chasing him, but that's what Shannon Dawson, who came over from Dana Holgerson's staff, said. He said, I wish we would have taken more shots down the field. I don't ever want to leave with bullets left in the gun, and he felt like he did that last week.
Yeah, and he tried to take one there, but it's a great call when you have the defense right back on the field. Their heads are down a little bit, still a little bit winded. The perfect time to try to take a shot.
Straight ahead, nice bend to the outside. Boom Williams gets a block, and he is down as a fumble. They say he was down and didn't fumble it through the back of the end zone, which would be a huge difference, and they're going to discuss this one as it is a 38-yard run.
Boy, you were all over this last night about how good Boom Williams is and what he means to this Kentucky offense. I mean, just breaks one, just rips one right off.
First and goal, Kentucky. Boom gets stopped maybe behind the line. Stephen Weatherly right there.
Well, how big would this be for Vanderbilt if they're able to hold Kentucky to another field goal here? Big turnover on your own end of the field. They rip off a big run, and then you sit in the trenches and fight it out and able to stop Kentucky. This may, and quite honestly, this may be 4-down territory for Mark Stoops if you get to that point.
Tolles lobs, nobody there.
The receiver just stopped on his route.
There's Dorian Baker. They're trying to find him. Torrin McGaster ended up being the closest man to the football. Now 3rd and goal.
And he's a good red zone receiver at 6'3", big guy, can climb the ladder for you and make some plays. Physical receiver.
Tell you what, if you're begging for calls to come your way in the red zone, you just lost some juice when you go back
no
watch
doubt.
the film. Kentucky 2 of 5 on 3rd down today.
That's big Adam Butler in there, number 69, anchoring down.
Boom, churning, pushing, and stopped. Vandy's going to force a 4th and goal. AG and Darian Herring converged on Boom Williams.
And right, they try to go over big Adam Butler. He holds the point of attack. Big guy right there. And here it is, the 4th down.
Tolles.
No.
Stopped. Weatherly and Herring that time. And Vandy takes the ball back.
Tried to quick snap this Vanderbilt defense, and they were ready for it. Credit Derek Mason having them coached up and expecting the quick snap. They get lower than the offensive line, get pushed. You see him right there. And Patrick Tolles can go nowhere. Nice job by Darren Herring as well as Stephen Weatherly.
Talk about how good Vandy's been on 3rd down this season. They've also been great on 4th down. Now, 25% both.
Now the shot that I told you Patrick Tolles should take after the fumble, this is where I'd take one if I'm Vanderbilt and Kyle Sherman. Find the matchup you like and let the ball go. You don't want to take a chance of giving up a safety here, handing it off deep to Ralph Webb.
Shermer's got a big arm. Webb just got out of the end zone. Gain of 1. Corey Johnson, first man there.
Yeah, it's tough to run the football down here because everybody defensively, they are smell and run.
So what do you like? What kind of pass play can you draw up?
I like just something quick, a vertical route, because 2 things can happen. You can either complete the football or you maybe get pass interference, or it's an incompletion, which is the same result as that run you just had, but it takes away the possibility of a safety.
Another handoff. A little more room this time, and Webb may have picked up the 1st down. Dallas Rivers that time. See where the spot is.
A little breathing room now. Dallas Rivers he's so important to this offense because he can do so many things. He's an all-around player. Had a nice, maybe his best game against Florida, his all-around best game. Versatile player who can play both fullback and line up at tailback as he did there and grind out yards for you.
On 3rd and 6, pocket collapsing. Let's run go down the sideline. Beautiful over-the-shoulder catch by Caleb Scott. 1st down, Vandy.
Exactly what I was talking about when Vanderbilt was backed up. Scott gets behind the true freshman Westry, Chris Westry, arguably their best cover man in the starting lineup, and drops one right on the outside shoulder. That's perfect. Fading the receiver away from the defensive back, and credit Scott as well for giving him the 4 yards necessary to fade him away from the defender with the football.
And now you're in plus territory out of the I formation. They love to run with this. Sean Dowling in at tight end. Webb and Rivers. On play action, max protection. Looking downfield again, just off the fingertips of Latavius Rayford.
Boy, he started trying to adjust to it a little bit early and slowed down. If he just continues to run, just run, you can get to that ball. Lay out at the end of it, whatever you have to do, but you just can't start looking back and trying to adjust just as early as Rayford did. Well, he had an outstanding camp entering the year. A guy that's fast, and right there he shows you he can get deep quickly.
Here's Ralph Webb. As a whole, Vandy's receivers haven't put up very impressive numbers this season. We talked about it in regard to Stephen Choi, but a big reason they just haven't had consistency at the quarterback position. Last week against Florida, they only put it in the air 14 times. They ran it 48 times, and Johnny McCrary went 3 of 14.
Yeah, and I don't care how good you play or how well you play defensively. When you're only throwing the ball 14 times, you're one-dimensional, and you're not going to, you don't have a lot of opportunities and possessions in offense when that's happening. You've got to play perfect. You got to play clean. You can't turn the ball over. None of those things happen.
Vandy's converted a pair of third downs on this drive already. Zone blitz, this one over the middle, just off the hands. Great defense by Westry, the freshman you talked about earlier.
Boy, and they love Westry
down now,
as well as Beatty, Derek Beatty, number 29 on the other side. Two true freshmen that start at corner for Kentucky. And Westry is 6'4", 185 pounds. Imagine when he grows into that body. He's got good movement for a guy that size. He's a willing tackler to play leverage in terms of coming up and helping and run support. But in off season's going to do him a world of good.
The flag was holding on Vanderbilt. Kentucky declined it, so Openshaw to punt it away to Walker. Charles Walker stands on the 10. And Fair catches it at about the 13, 33-yard punt from Tommy Openshaw. 3-0. Kentucky pitching the shutout here in the first quarter.
Thunder up.
There's no room for that, Andre. 3-0 Kentucky.
Ari knows exactly what I'm talking about.
It is basketball season. Both Vandy and Kentucky opened with wins on the college level last night.
That is his squad, the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Tolles down the sideline. Too strong. Let's check in with Laura.
Vandy's defense may have had a huge fourth down stop, but Derek Mason still wants to see more from them. He told them, stop being scared to go out and tackle somebody. He said, we have to make more tackles on the second level.
Well, they've done a nice job in terms of turning Kentucky away when they're right there point blank to get points. And I think Vandy's done a heck of a job on defense.
Tolles just 4 of 13 here in this first quarter. Boom Williams tried to turn around, lots of football. Vandy seemingly scooped it. It is Vanderbilt football. Caleb Azubuike, first man to force it. Let's see who came up with it. The secret to Vandy's success as it is, and it's Woods. Jay Woods, a sophomore from Jackson, Georgia.
He has improved tremendously this year, and he's carried that a great offseason into this year, playing some sound football right in the middle of Vanderbilt's defense. They are getting off blocks. Caleb Azubuike does a nice job of coming around on the outside of Boom Williams, getting a hand on the football. Big Jay Woods right there to scoop it up. And now Vanderbilt needs to get themselves in the end zone. This would do a huge, well, this would be a big lift for a young quarterback, Kyle Sherman.
No one in the league has more fumble recoveries than Vandy. Sherman looks in zone, finds his tight end, touchdown Vanderbilt. First grab for Kyle Anderson, the freshman from Hendersonville, Tennessee.
Yeah, what does this is Vanderbilt's tendencies are to run the football on early downs. They mix it up. Andy Ludwig does what Kentucky's least expecting, and that's to run play action and throw the football to the tight end Nathan Marcus.
Extra point is good from Hayden Lacotz. It's a first quarter touchdown for Vanderbilt since November 8th of last year against Florida, 371 days ago. Harmon and King. Saheem King had a great return on the first kick. Look at this. Wow, great vision to punch it back up past the 30-yard line. Vandy takes advantage of a takeaway to get its first touchdown. Starwalk leading the Commodores to their home field, and here on Nashville's West End, we've got a good one. Kentucky and Vandy, 7-3. 7-3, Vandy on top of Kentucky. A touchdown made possible by the defensive takeaway by Derek Mason's squad. First time they've scored a touchdown in the opening quarter since last year against Florida. Florida game, by the way, ended up being a 34-10 Gators final. And we got a new quarterback at the controls for Kentucky. Drew Barker, second-year freshman from Burlington, Kentucky.
Yeah, highly recruited kid. Redshirt freshman, and he gets the ball out quick. He has a quick release. He has the ability to put bad plays behind him and continue to play. And big time recruit coming out of high school.
His last start came 2 years ago tomorrow in high school. Barker lets this one go down the sideline. Got it! First down, Kentucky. Jeff Badette. And on the first play, Barker hits the home run ball 41 yards.
Well, just everybody expecting, since it's a new quarterback, that they're going to hand the football off, ease him into this game. But a nice job by Jeff Badette of getting under that one, getting behind the secondary, and Barker right on time and in rhythm with the throw.
All Badette does is catch long balls, and now Barker to throw it again on the slant. He's got Dorian Baker.
They were looking for a spark. I think they found it with Drew Barker. And watch, going back to that last play that he hit Badette on. Stood in there, took a big shot. Just delivered the football. Excellent work from the redshirt freshman.
He came into this game 8 of 11 for 73% on the season in limited time. They did not get him key playing time early in the season. Maybe they should have. Here's Boom Williams. Stretches it to the outside. Gets a block and lost his footing. Goes down at the 7. 13-yard scramble by Boom Williams.
Every time I see that, it takes me back to high school. We had a 4-back in our wing T offense, Rob Hill. His feet were all, I mean, this happened all the time. Where he's thinking and the feet were going faster than the brain. And just out in the open and just fall down. Hilarious.
Another 1st and goal for Kentucky. Vandy's been magnificent in this scenario. And they're able to stop them for no gain on 1st down. What makes Vanderbilt's defense so good in the red zone?
They just anchor down. I mean, that's their motto. They have playmakers down there. They feel the sense of urgency from Derek Mason. This is where we have to pick it up and make plays as well. They're good in a short area. And when you get down inside the 5-10 yard line, you don't have to make plays or cover receivers all over the place. The ball's got to come out quicker. They do a nice job of finding the area to defend.
2nd and goal. Barker. Reach, touchdown, Ryan Timmons. 7-yard scoring strike. Drew Barker, instant impact.
That could be a new sheriff in town in Lexington, Kentucky, and it may be Drew Barker. Nice job here. Look at the timing. Out in front, the throw wins. Weatherly is there, Cunningham is there to make a play, but it's the throw of Drew Barker that wins for Kentucky.
What a difference the quarterback makes. The last 11 plays over 4 possessions under Patrick Toll's Kentucky netted -2 yards with 2 turnovers. The first 5 plays under Drew Barker, 5 plays, 70 yards, and a touchdown pass. First touchdown reception for Timmons this season. First throw for Barker. And Kentucky is in front. It's a 10-7 lead for Kentucky. This Kentucky team needs to win 2 of its last 3 to make it to a bowl, and the change at quarterback paying immediate dividends. Short kick, fumbled kick, and able to fall on it on the return is Darius Sims. He coughed up one before, and there might be a change coming there. One of the Vandy sites referred to Kyle Shermer's start against Missouri as perfectly cromulent. He was 10 for 20 over the middle. That one in traffic, and a grab made by Trent Sherfield. Nothing cromulent about that one. A gain of 16.
Sherfield runs a nice route. Watch him flatten this baby off. Throw is flat, the route is flat, and it doesn't allow A.J. Stamps to come over the top to make a play. You can get yourself open even when a defender's right there by just continuing to work flat to keep your body between the football and the defender.
Big Matt Elam checks in, number 69, right over the center now. They've gone play action out of this formation. They do it again with max protection, and the out route caught. Caleb Scott turns it up the sideline.
Nice work.
And he's finally forced out of bounds inside the 30. Great footwork to stay in bounds, a gain of 34.
How about that throw? I mean, you got the cornerback, Beatty, Derek Beatty, the true freshman over there. He tries to undercut it, but the throw is already out and in a place where he can't make a play, and Scott has come to play in this football game. Boy, has he made some nice grabs for Kyle Shermer.
Shermer trying to pick apart that zone.
He's
that's
capable.
a gain of 7. That's Latavius Rayford with the grab.
He's capable of doing it. As I mentioned or referenced before, we came in here and they were getting ready for Western Kentucky. We got a chance to watch practice, and boy, he was popping it around, throwing it around. Who is this? Oh, we'd like to redshirt him.
Good luck.
Yeah, can't hide talent. Kareem rises to the top, and he's the quarterback going forward.
His dad coached Donovan McNabb for a long time. In his first stint with the Eagles. Corey Johnson in on the tackle, one stop there. Went on to St. Louis, worked with Sam Bradford, now working with Bradford again with Philly. And achieved his dream by being named the head coach of the Browns in 2011 and 2012 campaigns.
What I liked there, though, is he's gotten this back into a manageable situation here on third down. It's not super long. It's a situation where somebody's going to have to make a play for him, where it's a catch and run to get to the first down marker. If they decide to throw the ball here, which I think they will. Keep an eye on Caleb Scott. He's been the money man so far right here.
Shermer looks that way. Incomplete. Nearly picked. Tried to go to the inside receiver, Trent Sherfield. Kendall Randolph had the coverage.
It looked as though Josh Forrest may have gotten a hand, may have tipped the football initially that was intended for Trent Sherfield, made it a tough grab.
Well, the review from the booth is the big play on this drive. Brought Vandy back, and they're unable to find a first down. Sky high kick will be fielded outside the 20. Barker will try to take off. Now here's one of the limitations. He's not as athletic as Patrick Tolles. We talk about the running game. Weatherly able to swallow him up. So I'm curious how they will amend the playbook with Drew Barker under center versus Tolles.
3 carries, 20 yards coming in to the ball game. He's not known as a runner, but boy, has he been lights out so far in the passing game for Kentucky.
2nd down and 11. He was one of the most prolific players in Kentucky high school football history. One of the top recruits, a face of the recruiting class. And after he signed, he brought a lot of guys with him as Baker hauls this one in. Let's check in with Laura.
You can see why he brought a lot of guys with him. After the touchdown, Drew Barker came off the field with a smile, told offensive coordinator Shannon Dawson his arm still wasn't completely warmed up, so he threw on the sideline a little bit. But after that score, this Kentucky sideline erupted. You can see the energy Drew Barker brings to the team. More excited than I've seen all game. And a few Kentucky players went over to check on Patrick Tolles also. He told them, look, guys, I'm good. I'm good.
And I believe, I don't know why guys don't do that more often between series. Get a ball, throw it around, keep yourself hot rather than cooling down on long drives and then having to go back in and essentially get warm while you're playing. Oh boy.
Picked off. Oren Burke's 2nd interception. This one goes for 6. they tell us yesterday? Our defense has been great, but we haven't had one of these.
Yeah, haven't had enough of these, and they play a lot of match coverage where a receiver is there in zone coverage, but once a receiver gets in an area of the field, then they match up man to man, and then it allows the safeties, when it happens, to make plays on the back end. And Oren Burks with his second pick of the game, that one is a pick six. That's the very thing that Derek Mason talked to us about that they needed more of with this defense. That's the one lone thing that had been missing.
In the offseason, Derek Mason insisted Oren Burks watch Stanford film. He wanted to watch number 8, a safety with great range. That would be Jordan Richards, captain of the team and a rookie with the Patriots. Looked a little bit like Richards here. Stepped in front of it for his second pick of the day, a pick six, and Vandy's up 4. Sun setting on Nashville's West End. Kind of feels like a Kentucky home game, doesn't it? There's a lot of blue in the stands today.
Well represented today. And it was about a 4-hour drive, and a lot of fans decided to make the journey here to Nashville.
And I'm guessing some of them were among the 18,000 at Rupp last night for John Calipari's season opening win. Short kick handled at the 25-yard line. 17-yard scamper by Drew Barker. Horton this time. Oh, he lost the football. Able to turn his body around, and the ball stayed within him. 4-yard gain.
You know, on third down and whatever, I'm going to heat up the quarterback a little bit, especially a young quarterback. I'm going to bring some pressure and force the ball out. But take a look here. Horton lost it, and it bounced right into his left hand. Lucky to get that one back.
Barker was a 3-year starter in high school. Put up incredible numbers. Design draw this time. Cuts back behind his lineman. And that's going to bring up 3rd and a yard and a half. Zach Cunningham with the stop after the 6-yard gain.
Who said he couldn't run? He came into this baby averaging just under 7 yards a carry. And you don't think that way. All of a sudden you start taking those deep drops. It got him in trouble in the last 3rd down. Here they are again. And once again for the season, Vanderbilt 25% on 3rd downs. First in the SEC at getting themselves off the field on 3rd down.
Tight end C.J. Conrad on the field.
Could be 4-down territory here for Mark Stoops, though. Get across the 50, all bets are on.
Horton stuck right at the line of scrimmage. Zach Cunningham came up to make the play.
He's a guy that is probably the team's defensive MVP to this point in the season. Watch him right here. That's just, I want to make the tackle and hold you short of the 1st down.
Kentucky 1 of 2 on 4th downs today. They need 1 yard to keep the drive alive.
Horton's their power back. He's in there at 6'1", 226. The power side is the left side between Jordan Swindle and Nick Hayes.
They're just bleeding the clock
up here.
They just got it off. Barker goes deep. No flag. Bone, the intended receiver, covered by McGaster.
Actually, I think the receiver went out of bounds on his own. The official threw his hat.
Mark Stoops is arguing he was forced out of bounds.
Yeah, there's McGaster, their best cover man, working against Blake Bone. And he goes out of bounds. You see the official's hat come in. That's the indicator that the receiver went out of bounds on his own.
1:15 to go. Vandy's calling card is defense. It's been there all day today.
Yeah, they've strung Boom Williams out. They get down inside the red zone. They turn him away on a 4th and 1. Forces a fumble. Caleb Azubike knocks it out. And then here, Tor McGaster, Oren Burks coming up with his first interception. And then he's going to double it up. A second one for a pick six. Just got off the field again on a 4th down situation. Derek Mason's defense playing some outstanding football.
6 tackles behind the line of scrimmage. Shermer handles the high snap. finds Stephen Choi. First catch in 2.5 games for the senior from Evansville, Indiana.
Tom, I just think he's too good not to be or play a bigger role, a much larger role in this offense. Great hands, great move tight end. He's gotten better as an online blocker, and Andy Ludwig's got to find a way to get the ball to Stephen Choi.
Shermer lets it fly off the hands of Trent Sherfield.
A couple of times Sherfield's had an opportunity to make plays. Got to hold on to the ball. Gain the confidence of the quarterback. Make the tough catches. Here it's out in front. Boy, that hits him right between the 1 and the 0. Gotta catch that one.
He's got one of the 4 his way.
If you're Kentucky, if you can hold up here, maybe you think about taking a timeout.
Sherfield finds Webb. He's got room to roam. Gets taken down by Mike Edwards. First down. Clock will stop for a moment. 2 timeouts. 55 seconds on the clock. Kyle Shermer looking for the screen. Webb lost his footing. He had 3 O-linemen in front of him. Instead of a big gain, it's a loss of 2 and a timeout taken by Vandy.
I tell you what, he had a convoy in front of him. Nice job by Kyle Shermer of inviting the defense up the field. Got Barrett Guger out in front. A couple of other blockers. He was going to go for a while.
They hit a guy on the sideline. It's Caleb Scott, and Scott's in for the touchdown.
Boy, just uncovered. Nobody out over Caleb Scott.
Andy Ludwig hid Caleb Scott outside the numbers, which is an illegal play if you had come off the field prior and then only stepped back on. But if he never left the field, and Mark Stoops is arguing you can't hide a guy over there, but they're able to rush out with 10 right at the line of scrimmage and catch Kentucky sleeping. And Vanderbilt with a 21-10 lead with 37 seconds left.
See here, they're clearly the entire unit was on the field.
Here's the difference. Caleb Scott was already inside the numbers. He wasn't outside to begin with.
Yeah, he was in this area and then came back here.
And then Scott hiding right next to the side. I love it. There's a nuance to the way that play was drawn up, and that was to have Scott to start inside the numbers.
Just got to count them out. 10, you got to look for the 11th guy. He's somewhere.
Derek Mason will be with Laura Rutledge on the Auto Owners Halftime Report. Let's take you to the studio. Our score, 21-10, Vandy in front of Kentucky. Dari. Nightfall in Nashville, and Vanderbilt leads Kentucky 21-10. An offensive outburst for the Commodores. Tom Hart alongside Heisman winner Andre Ware, season high in points in the first half with 21. The defense all season has set the stage for Vanderbilt. Tonight it's leading to points.
I think they're leading the way in this football game as well. The way they've played, turning Kentucky around a couple of times in the red zone. Right here, Torrin McGaster. Oren Burks is the recipient of his tip pass, and then Oren Burks steps in front of a Drew Barker intended pass for it, and returns it for a touchdown. Then it's Kyle Shermer, the young true freshman, getting his footing, throws his first touchdown pass, and then Caleb Scott hiding out along that Vanderbilt sideline, gets himself in the end zone. It's been an impressive first half for the Vanderbilt Commodores.
21 points, so they're most by Vandy against an FBS team this season. 4 of 8 on third down, and the 2 interceptions. Keep in mind, so they've scored 21 in this half. On the season, they've held opponents to just 17 points a game. We're talking with Derek Mason. He said our goal at Stanford was 17 points a game. Here it was a little bit of an uptick. We're good with 19 points a game. It gives us a chance to win because that means we have 4 quarters to score 21 points. Yeah, that's the 12th best number in the country, by the way. They didn't need 4 quarters tonight to get to 21.
Yeah, and he's trying to keep an even keel about himself and maybe not get too high or too low, and where his team feeds from his emotion. He realizes he's still in a ball game. There's a lot of time left, even though they're up 21-10.
And they'll get the ball to start the second half from the 6-yard line. Dallas Rivers takes it out past the 25. Let's check in with Laura Rutledge.
Kentucky will start Drew Barker at quarterback to begin this second half, but Patrick Towles will be ready, and both quarterbacks came out of the locker room early to warm up heading into the second half. Mark Stoops told me he was happy with Drew Barker's first drive, felt really good about that, and then of course said the interception was not what they were looking for, but he thinks they have to do more to help Barker out, and they plan to do that in the second half.
All right, Laura, thank you. On the other side for Vandy, Kyle Shermer and Darius Sims are the only two Commodores who have taken snaps today. Sims in the Wildcat formation. Johnny McCrary, they said, would be available today in a change of pace situation. They haven't gone to him yet. Shermer off play action. Gets drilled as he lets it go into quadruple coverage. Trent Sherfield is there.
What a catch.
Wow. 4 jerseys of the white color around him. Khalid Henderson laid the lick on Shermer.
How about the toughness of Kyle Shermer to sit in the pocket and deliver this? 3 defenders, 4. If you're counting another one coming into your screen, but 4 defenders around him, and a Khalid Henderson leveling him, but he's still able to throw an accurate pass.
I'd say he's taking it from the glass to the grass, or at least
no doubt
the field
about
turf in this situation. Out of the I formation, play action again, hit again, and overthrew Sherfield that time.
You have to shore things up in terms of pass protection. You don't want him to get hit too much. 10 of 16, 129 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And it's Jason Hatcher. DJ Elliott, he told us earlier in the week, we're going to dial up some pressure. Young quarterback starting. You're right. We're going to see some pressure, especially on third downs when they bring it about 75% of the time.
Out of the pistol here on 2nd and 10. Ralph Webb gets swallowed up by Corey Johnson.
Yeah, he's going to see earlier in the first half, and you made mention of it, Tom. Kentucky playing some zone defense. Shermer's able to sit in the pocket, sort things out, and distribute the football. DJ Elliott has taken a different approach here to start the second half. It's been pressure. Corey Johnson getting pushed. Hatcher coming from the outside. Henderson as well. But with that comes man-to-man. And now it's up to the receivers to have to win for their quarterback.
A.J. Stamps creeping on the line. He's coming on a blitz. Shermer uncorks one. Incomplete. Trent Sherfield, the intended receiver. Mike Edwards delivered the blast on Sherfield.
Well, a couple of plays, or a play here by a couple of freshmen, the true freshman and Chris Westry, and then the redshirt freshman Mike Edwards coming over to help out. This was going to be a big play to Sherfield if it weren't for Mike Edwards coming over the top from his safety spot.
Ball went off of Edwards' helmet. Angled punt from Openshaw. Fair catch taken at the 14-yard line. It's still Towles at quarterback. Second possession, second half for Towles. And he found a receiver, not sure who he's throwing to, but Garrett Johnson found it in his breadbasket right over the top of Dorian Baker, just shy of the first down.
Well, that's just, you see the talent of Patrick Towles. Just to figure out how to put it all together and with consistency.
Towles hands it off straight ahead. Boom Williams, first down.
Boom coming back from an elbow injury. You see the brace on his right elbow.
That was an ugly injury.
Missed him last week.
Boom again. Wow, he bent it to the outside. Boom Williams to the races. Tripped up inside the 10 by Trey Herndon. 67-yard run for Stanley Boom Williams.
Oh, and this is one of the things that Derek Mason told us yesterday they couldn't have happen. Explosive plays. Had to keep the top down and not allow Boom Williams to get to the third level of their defense.
JoJo Kemp now in at running back.
The second timeout of the half.
Vandy takes a timeout. They've been so good in the red zone. Last time Patrick Tolles was in this situation, he threw an interception to Oren Burks. Boom's got to recharge the batteries after that 67-yarder.
Yeah, he picked up a couple of nice blocks on the outside. Once again, shielding it off. Jordan Swindle, the left tackle, and then it's a nice cut by Boom Williams and a foot race. Luckily that Trey Herndon was there to run him down.
Boom over 100 yards, 11 carries, 112.
That race car you were talking about, 0 to 100.
Yep.
But then out of fuel. You got to take a break. Take a break and get refueled again.
The last 30 years, he's the second quickest Kentucky running back to reach 1,000 yards. Came in with 1,049. Mo Williams was the quickest. And Stanley missed 2 games and was injured in 2 others. Kemp now at tailback. Out of the timeout. What does Kentucky have drawn up? JoJo Kemp fighting his way through the first man. I got some help from his offensive lineman to kind of push him. Zach West, I think, was the guy for another couple yards. It's a gain of 5.
He weighs about 4 or 5 pounds more than Boom Williams, but he's a good inside runner, and they're not afraid to run JoJo Kemp down in this end of the field. Short yardage situations.
Kemp again lowers his head. He's in. Touchdown, Kentucky. Boom Williams did the heavy lifting, but JoJo Kemp pays it off. Austin McGinnis for the extra point. 5-play, 91-yard scoring drive. Second drive of the second half for Patrick Tolles. The point is good. We've got a 4-point game.
JoJo Kemp does a nice job. He's not a big guy at 5'10", but he can hide behind the offensive line. He's got good lower body power as a runner. So once he gets low, it's hard to find him. Then he explodes right at the end of this run to get himself into the end zone.
Kemp took over this game last year against Vandy out of the Wildcat, had 60 yards out of the Wildcat. And he was big a couple games last year in the same formation. Here's what's left for Kentucky. They need to win 2 of their last 3. Charlotte's having a rough season. That home game should be a win for Kentucky. And then if you lose this one, you put yourself in the position just like last year, taking on your rival, needing a win to make it to the postseason.
Well, you got to feel pretty good about next week's game, but you got to take care of business right here in front of you, and it's game on right now. All the pressure, even though Vanderbilt has a 21-17 lead, right now all the pressure's on Vanderbilt because Kentucky has the momentum, and they found something offensively in Boom Williams.
From the goal line, Dallas Rivers to the 20. Moves the pile past the 25-yard line, at least in the first half. Here's Webb.
Yeah, see, I don't think this is going to get it done. Andy Ludwig's going to have to take a different approach offensively and maybe take a risk or 2 with Kyle Shermer in the passing game. Kentucky, they're selling out on the run, especially on first down.
Can you trust a freshman?
You have to. You are here to win the football game, and he's in the lineup. You scaled it back. You give him a play that he's most comfortable running and completing a ball.
Here's Dallas Rivers. Couple yards for Rivers.
I don't know what he's doing, Andy Ludwig. He's trying to stay in rhythm offensively, stay on schedule, where you get it to a manageable down and distance on third down.
Kyle Shermer has Vanderbilt in front of Kentucky through 3 quarters of play in a series that dates to 1896. Kentucky with a 1-game edge in the history of this series. 1 quarter to play here in Nashville. Freshman Kyle Shermer's thrown for a pair of touchdowns. Oren Burks has picked 2 off, and Took one to the house, and Boone Williams is coming alive in the second half with some big runs. Vanderbilt facing third down to start the fourth quarter. Third and 6.
And some pressure.
They'll bring 5. Shermer incomplete. Just out of the reach of Darius Sims, who thought he was held by Josh Forrest.
I just don't think you can live, run on first, run on second, throw on third. 9 of their last 11 plays have been running plays, with the exception of a screen pass and that last play. This kind of resembles last week's game against Florida, where 7 points wasn't enough.
Return opportunity for Charles Walker to the 40, where he's wrestled down. Garrett Johnson in motion. Straight ahead run for Boone Williams, and he picks up a couple. Laura.
Well, you see Kentucky left tackle Jordan Swindle back in there. He injured his left ankle on that last drive. They taped it up, and he's also been getting a lot of praise down here. He said, no matter what, I'm going back in there. He feels like he wants to help his team.
Yeah, Laura, he got rolled up on the touchdown run and then got bent over. He actually got hit in the lower leg twice on that play.
Played a great ball game.
Tolles on the draw. Safe at second, but he slid just a yard shy of the first down, and that's going to leave 3rd and 1.
You just got to make sure you pick up the first. Had plenty of time to slide. Just go ahead and pick up that first down to make sure you move the chains. Good job by the offensive line. Watch here, they just invite the rush, run them up the field, and then seal off. John Toth, the center, with a nice block inside to free up Patrick Tolles. Always makes me nervous when you're in the shotgun in a short yardage situation.
Here's JoJo Kemp. He's through. Kemp taken down from behind. A first down and plenty more on a 22-yard gain.
A tough inside runner. May not be the biggest back that you laid eyes on, but boy, he is tough. Nice block inside, and then it's just all JoJo Kemp on his way to a first down.
We've gone with this inverted wishbone a lot in the second half. Again, spinning his way free. McGaster trips up Kemp, a gain of 4.
Yeah, that play before, Darrell Long kind of works in as an H-back type. List him as a tight end, number 86. He's the guy that threw the block to spring JoJo Kemp. You'll see him right there. He's done some nice work in this drive. Another young player, redshirt freshman.
Needs 6 for the first down. Boone Williams back in the game. Gets 1.
And now you know he's not going to carry the ball being in that position, but what you have to worry about is a play action and then going to him. Now he just checked himself out, and maybe Kentucky's thinking pass here.
Shannon Dawson, the offensive coordinator, came over from West Virginia, where he's with Dana Holgorsen. Was a GA for Hal Mummy back at New Mexico State when he first started his coaching career.
Boy, they were slinging it around back then, that's for sure.
3rd down 5. Tolles complete, shy of the marker. That's going to leave 4th and along 2, I believe. Baker forced out of bounds by McGaster. The forward progress marks it at the 15.
Well, that's been a nice matchup, watching Dorian Baker and Torian McGaster face off against one another. McGaster's won his share, and then Baker's had a couple of nice receptions as well for first downs. Love those little one-on-one battles. Every once in a while you'll find them in a team game, like just as I described with McGaster and Baker.
Well, makes it a 37-yard attempt for McGinnis. He's 13 of 15 on the season. Still well within his range. It is no good. He pulled it left.
5 yards matters.
Kicking is a mental skill, and if anything, he was so bothered by them not taking the timeout. The distance and the distance between the ears. Webb on first down rips off a 6-yard run. Would have made it a 1-point game. You step inside the kicker's head, and he's obviously frustrated they didn't use the timeout. And that's no way to kick. You got to step off the tee, right?
The last thing you want is him thinking about anything other than just step, plant, and kick it. And he's looking to the sideline wondering, and that's what's racing through his mind right now. He's 5 yards closer. That field goal's good.
It's like somebody sneezing in Andre's backswing. Webb,
I might let you know about that one.
Yeah, I bet you would. I bet that's why you got to step away, right?
I wouldn't say anything. It would just be the look.
Jason Hatcher had the look that time. He's back from injury, been battling a high ankle sprain, big hit on Webb, and quickly Vandy looking at a 3rd down. Vandy leading on the run in the second half. 16 of their 24 play calls have kept it on the ground. Shermer incomplete, no flag. Caleb Scott, the intended receiver. Derek Beatty cut him off.
And Shermer may have stared that one down a little too long. We'll see him. He stays there for a while with his eyes. Scott's been pretty much automatic for Kyle Shermer. It's understandable for a young quarterback to go to a place where he's comfortable with a receiver that's making plays.
How about the 13? It's a 23-yard punt. Long field for Kentucky. 2 timeouts in their pocket. 5.5 minutes to go. Kentucky's played 2 quarterbacks today. Tolles 10 of 24 for 67 and a pick. Barker 5 of 8 for 60, but they took him off the field in the 3rd quarter. They reopened the quarterback competition this week. It took 11 days of fall practice for Tolles to win the quarterback job. Barker gave him a run, won it fair and square before the season started.
Felt like his experience gave him a better chance to win today. Well, he's going to have an opportunity here with 5.5 minutes left and 2 timeouts.
Boom Williams is his running back. Play action on first down. Out route. Oh my
boy.
Goodness. Torrin McGaster knew the play. Baker was the intended receiver.
There are certain instances as a quarterback of when to mess with a guy and when not to. And if the ball's got to stay in the air a long time, if a guy isn't wide open, leave Torrin McGaster alone. That's game, set, match if he holds on to that one and stays in bounds.
Tolles playing with fire. Keeps it, gets tripped up, makes it to the 20, a gain of 7.
A nice play call there. Everybody thinking that they're going to throw the ball on 2nd and long and just spread out, just to basically game their way out, and gave Patrick Tolles some nice running room.
See Tolles' numbers as a team. Kentucky 4 of 15 on 3rd down tonight. Throw it on 3rd and 3. It's incomplete. Dorian Baker couldn't haul it in. 4:48 remaining.
Had some work, a room to work with. Gets inside, picks up a block, and if he just holds on to that one, it could be a foot race. Thrown a little low, but at this point in the game, you are expected to make that catch.
Vandy's come after just about every punt tonight. They blocked one of them. We got a flag down Ryan White comes up to midfield to receive it. It's a 30-yard punt. We'll wait for the call. A couple of drops when Patrick Tolles is in the game. Are you of the belief that receivers react differently to different quarterbacks?
Illegal formation on the kicking team, more than 4 in the backfield. A 5-yard penalty be tacked on to the end of the kick. First down.
There's no doubt in my mind that receivers react differently to different quarterbacks, and we'll talk about that on the other side.
4:40 remaining. Here's Ralph Webb. Straight ahead, boy, an ankle away. Gain of 9. A.J. Stamps held on.
He is a tackling machine and has basically saved Kentucky on a couple of occasions tonight in terms of Ralph Webb being one-on-one and hitting a home run. He's allowed him to hit a couple of doubles, but he has saved him from hitting the home run.
5 tackles tonight for Stamps. He's played a good chunk of this game after coming off the bench last week in Gainesville. 2nd and 1. Kentucky 2 timeouts remain. Shermer keeps it, and he lunges forward for the first.
Just enough.
McClain had him around the ankles.
Is that first down you're looking for? The clock's running. At some point, Mark Stoops going to have to start using these timeouts just to get Patrick Tolles and his offense to give him a chance.
Webb hugged by Josh Forrest and brought down. Vandy looking for its 2nd conference win of the season. They also knocked off Missouri here at home.
Baby steps for Derek Mason in this program. Just to still be alive. They're able to lock this one down tonight. A&M coming in here next week, still alive for a bowl berth.
Webb will leave 3rd and 1 after a gain of 5.
He dodged a truck, and it was wearing the number 27, and Mike Edwards. He came up with ugly intentions, and Webb gave it and took it away. He was able to make him miss.
Kentucky uses the timeout. Cats will only have 1 remaining. Remember earlier when they used the timeout with the play clock running out on their punt team. Kyle Shermer.
Been solid.
Webb picks up the first down, and with 2:17 to go.
Now is when you want to take the clock or the play clock well into 10 seconds or under 10 seconds. No rush. Just wait to get the play call in. You don't snap the football until you're around 5 seconds.
He needed to get to the 24.
It's close.
Here's Webb. 1:45. It's going to bring up 2nd down. Kentucky still has that timeout in their pocket.
No, as I mentioned, just take the play clock well down to about 5 seconds before you even think about snapping this baby. And a first down, it's over.
Sure, but before that, there's still going to be some time left on the clock for Kentucky. See, when they decide to use their timeout, they're going to have about a half a minute if they can hold Vandy. Play clock to 2. Here's Webb, dropped, and there's the timeout. So 1:03 to go as Vandy looks at a third down.
Yeah, but if you're Derek Mason, you're thinking at this point in the game, plus they may add a field goal here. And now it's a totally different approach because you need 7. Well, you need 7 both ways, but he's feeling confident enough in his defense tonight that he can stop Kentucky from a game-winning drive.
Here's Webb. Stop there with 58 seconds left.
They wanted to get it to the left hash mark. Give Tommy Openshaw the angle in which he likes to take this field goal attempt here.
So they're going to have 16 seconds, roughly a 16-second difference between the game clock and the play clock. And they're going to leave the offense on the field right now. Vandy out of timeouts. Kentucky out of timeouts.
Yeah, may just take the delay of game.
They're going to snap it, and they're going to get a few more seconds off this clock. Webb goes down with 10. Change of possession. And Kentucky will have 10 seconds left to try to make something happen with Patrick Towles at quarterback. What do you got here? And how many play? I mean, do you have a chance to run a quick out and get 8 yards before you set something else up?
Yeah, you know, I've always liked in these situations a deep curl route and then a trailer on the outside where you can flip it to him and then try to turn it into a foot race.
Left side of the field is the wide side with the ball on the right hash.
It's just throwing it up. It's not going to happen. Not with 10 seconds. And maybe you use 5 to get something down the field and get out of bounds.
Blake Bone, Dorian Baker, miscommunication for Kentucky. Wide receivers don't know what they're doing. Jeff Badet doesn't know where to go. Towles gets dropped by Caleb Azubike. He did it again.
Azubike, what a time to pick up the first sack of the year to end the football game. Excuse me, second sack of the year.
Of the day. Pocket collapsed on Towles, and number 55 was waiting. (21-17) is the final. Vandy gets a pick 6. Their defense holds Kentucky to Vandy's defensive season average. And Laura Rutledge is standing by with Derek Mason.
Thanks, Tom. Coach, your formula for stout defense is paying off in your second year. What can you say about the way they helped you win this game?
Well, you know what? I got to give credit to these guys. These guys have done a tremendous job, to the coaches and to the players, of just hanging in there and believing and trying to create a culture of doing the right thing, being accountable every day, and playing hard. And that's what we're doing right now.
Kyle Shermer throws for 2 touchdowns today. What did you see from your young quarterback that will help you with decisions going forward?
You know, I thought he played well. I thought he came out, he handled, you know, the platform of the SEC and what that can be. You know, I'm proud of him, but I'm proud of our team. Just because they competed, they stayed in it.
I can tell you can't wipe the smile off your face right now. What does this mean to you?
Man, it means the world. I mean, right now, and this group has done a tremendous job of just staying in this deal. You know, I'm excited for them. I'm getting ready to go over here, man, and greet our fans, but this has been fantastic.
Thanks, Coach.
Anchor down.
Second win against an SEC opponent. Their second win this season. Commodores riding their blueprint. Great defense, just enough offense in our final. Vanderbilt knocks off Kentucky 21-17. They're 2 wins from bowl eligibility. Kentucky needs to win its final 2 to make it to the postseason. Fun one here today, dominated by the Commodores defense, and Vandy gets his second conference win.